2021 off season, so I wanted to do another season review for one of our players. I've already done Haas and Candelario, so today I'm going to do Jonathan Schoops. He was our first baseman, but he split time at second. Mostly played first though, so we'll take a look at his splits at both positions in a minute. But he was a right-handed batter. He's 6'1", 250 pounds, and he is 29 years old. So we are getting him right in his prime. This is his second season with the Tigers, and we just signed him to a 2-year contract extension. So we will at least have him for the next 2 seasons, hopefully a little bit more than that, but we will see if we're going to extend him or not. We can take a look at his season stats on the year. 22 homers, 84 RBIs, a 278 batting average, 320 on-base percentage, a 435 slugging, and a 756 OPS. So insanely good numbers. Some things that stand out, definitely the homers and RBIs. He was one of our most productive players, one of our most clutch hitters. Came through a lot when we had runners on base. He wouldn't just hit solo homers. He'd hit 3-run, 2-run grand slams multiple times. So he was a really productive hitter, most RBIs on the team, and he was, I believe, second on the team in home runs, just behind Grossman. So really productive year, over 670 plate appearances, so he wasn't injured practically at all. We can look at his spray chart really quick here. So he mostly pulls his homers, but he can also hit them to the opposite side. He can also hit doubles and singles everywhere in the field. So he's a really productive hitter. He's not just a pull, so you can't really shift on him. So that's a huge advantage we have with him. Something else we can take a look at here are his 2020 season stats and his 2021. I thought this was pretty interesting. He pretty much matched his numbers exactly if this season were to be over 162. So he gave us exactly what we were looking for. He batted the exact same, similar on-base percentage, similar slugging and OPS. Obviously, the homers are a little bit less, but he only played 44 games. Like I said, if it was spanned over a 162-game season, I'm sure he would have had a pretty similar season to this. So it's really impressive that he was able to give us exactly what we were looking for and expecting. The next thing we can look at here are his batting splits to see how he started the season. So he started the season pretty rough, batting 198 with a 230 on-base percentage and a 284 slugging. So really, really rough start. Only 2 homers and 1 other extra base hit with 6 RBIs. So just a really, really tough way to start the season, but he bounced back and rounded it out in May with 3 homers, 12 RBIs, batting 275 with a 342 on base. June was by far his breakout month. 10 homers, 27 RBIs, 340 batting average, and a 379 on base. 698 slugging and a 1.077 OPS. Insanely impressive numbers. Those are like elite numbers. He only had that for 1 month, but he still finished the season really strong. Another full month of batting over 300 in July. And then he also had a nice power surge to end the year with 4 homers and 14 RBIs. So he was really productive pretty much every month besides the first month, and he kept his batting average and on base in the high 280s and then 300s for the on base for pretty much every month and the last 4 months. So super impressive way to end the season by him. We can take a look at his splits by position. So he played 110 games at first, and he batted the exact same as when he batted at second. So a way bigger sample size at first and second, but as you can see, pretty much wherever you put him, he's going to hit the same. So the fact that he doesn't get affected by where he plays positionally is super helpful. DH was a little bit worse, but his numbers haven't completely fallen off like Haas's did, we saw yesterday. He's still productive from the DH, so we can play him in a lot of positions, so that brings a lot of value. Something else we can take a look at here is one of his best games of the season. So it was the 8-9 loss against the Chicago White Sox. So we did lose the game, but he had 4 hits and 4 at-bats, 5 plate appearances, though, because he also had a walk, 2 homers in the game. So that was extremely impressive. We'll take a look at the homers right here. So this was the first home run of the day off Keuchel, and he crushed it, pull again, barely got over the fence, so a really, really good homer. We can take a look at his second home run in that game. So a little bit later in the game, it was 3-7, and he crushed a 3-run homer to a similar spot, so he pulled it again. Really, really impressive day for him. Another game he played really, really well was the 10-4 win against the Tampa Bay Rays. In that game, he went 2 for 5 on the day, but he had 4 RBIs and he had a grand slam. We can take a look at that right here. So the Grand Slam was really impressive because this was around a stretch where we started beating a lot of really good teams. We won this Tampa Bay series, and then we also went on to beat or sweep Milwaukee the next series after this. So this was a huge momentum hit because if we didn't win the Rays series, I don't know if we go on to win the Milwaukee series as well. So huge hit from Schoop, really impressive. You can see it here. He just poked the bat out and was able to pull it. So he has immense power. I'm really impressed by him this year. Last thing we can look at here on his Baseball Savant page is definitely some of the most impressive percentile rankings. The max exit velo, he hits the ball really, really hard. He doesn't strike out a ton, so that's really impressive. That's about it for Schoop. For a grade on the year, I'd give him a A for sure. I'm excited to see what he'll do for the next 2 seasons. You have to give him an A because he was probably our best player by far. Him and Candelario there right up top. But yeah, that'll be for Schoop. The next person I'll do is probably Grossman or a pitcher maybe, but I will see you guys for that.